So within these two wooden plates, there are these many individual palm leaves. Both. Like many things in India, it's a chaos, but somehow it's working. Hello and welcome to the MyPalmLeaf channel. I'm really happy to introduce today to you my friend and colleague Kyle Brooks, who's joining MyPalmLeaf now as a full team member, as a content creator. He has already been working with MyPalmLeaf for a while as a moderator. He has been facilitating and moderating the PalmLeaf reading. And now he's going to join us and create a lot of meaningful content to share more information about the palm leaves and anything related to the palm leaves. For example, the rishis, about the laws of karma, about time, and anything else that might be interesting for you. Now, to be authentic and real, Kyle is not joining us because he has a lot of experience in content creation, but he's joining us because he has a really profound background in spirituality, especially meditation, yoga, exploring consciousness, exploring the subtle laws of the universe, and in self-development in general. He's a meditation teacher and has probably set more days in silent meditation retreats than most people on this planet. So he has a lot of profound experience, and he's now going to apply this experience by learning how to create meaningful content for you. And we thought that a good start to do that would be by him interviewing me today to share and answer many questions that might be interesting for you as viewers, but also for himself as well. So welcome today. And with that, I pass on to the host of this interview, Kyle Brooks. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for such a warm and welcoming intro. And welcome to the viewers. Welcome to the MyPalmLeaf channel. As Stephan was saying, my name is Kyle Brooks. I'll be taking the role of content creator at MyPalmLeaf. And to begin this journey as content creator, we decided to create a handful of interviews with the team at MyPalmLeaf in order to give you, the viewer, potential clients, and past clients, a better overview of what MyPalmLeaf is as a company, as a vision, to understand better how the palm leaves work, to understand better who the people behind these palm leaf readings are. So we'll begin talking with some of the members of the team of MyPalmLeaf. We'll also, at a certain point, be talking with some of the palm leaf translators and readers that work in the libraries in India. So let's dive straight into it. Welcome, Stephan. I wonder if you'd be open to give us a quick overview of your journey, where it began, how your spiritual interest developed.
Sure. So as you said, it's going to be a quick overview over a long book with many chapters. But basically, I had a very deep interest in spirituality in my whole adult life. I think when I was like 17, 18, I started to have an interest in meditation and just to explore consciousness in general. I did like my first meditation courses, and then as soon as I turned 20 and I finished school, I took a one-way flight to India. And I didn't know why, I just followed my intuition to go there. And then once I arrived there, I got exposed to this whole profound world of spirituality. And I met many masters, yogis, monks who dedicate their lives fully to exploring the wonders of reality, basically, which inspired me a lot to also really dedicate myself to this inner journey. And I spent many years just studying meditation, yoga, and many different spiritual traditions, like basically searching for teachers, for masters, studying with them, and acquiring all the understanding that, all the wisdom that I could find from many different sources. So now, and also in the past, I don't really have like one specific path that I follow, but I was learning from many different traditions and basically went to the essence of them and understood that all of them are pointing to the same ultimate reality, are pointing to the same consciousness and the same essence of all of existence, and just try to explain them with a different vocabulary, with different languages, with different expressions. So I love to dedicate myself to the exploration of consciousness, and especially through the art and practice of meditation and different yogic practices, of which working with the palm leaves and working with the rishis is actually one of these approaches.
So this was going to be my next question. I'm curious how this journey led you towards the palm leaves, how you discovered them in the first place.
Yes, so I knew about the palm leaves for a long time, probably like for 20 years or so. I just heard about them and I was fascinated when I heard about them. And the first time I went to a palm leaf library, I think it was in 2008 or 9 in India. It was a very small library in Delhi. And although my leaf was not found at the time, I will always remember this experience because it was a very touching experience. It felt very authentic, very real. And somehow it always stayed with me. And then many years later, I was just visiting my family in Germany. One morning I woke up and I was like, oh, the palm leaves, I need to find my palm leaf. It was a very clear, very strong intuition that I had. And I immediately was Googling, I was still half asleep in my bed, I was Googling for the palm leaves, and I found someone who was doing the same work like we do today, like helping people to find their palm leaf. And I booked a reading. Very soon after I had my reading, while I was actually sitting in my car in front of a Vipassana center. And so I had the reading and I went straight from my palm leaf reading into 10 days of silence and meditation. So straight into the retreat. Just perfect timing because I could just contemplate a lot, both on the content of my own reading, but also on the palm leaves in general, which also immediately inspired this wish inside of me to work with the palm leaves, to learn more about them, to learn about the rishis, and also to help other people to find their palm leaf.
I'm just having a funny image of you sitting for a 3-hour palm leaf reading in a car with your phone.
Yes,
in front of a Vipassana center.
It was quite fun. At some point, even the people from the center, they came to knock on the window like, hey, you need to come now, we're closing the gate. They literally went straight from the reading into silence.
And so I'm imagining that some people watching will be new to MyPalmLeaf, will be considering getting a reading for themselves. Maybe I've never heard of the palm leaves before. So what are the palm leaves? Where do they come from? What's contained in these leaves?
Very important question. So palm leaves in general, dried palm leaves, were used in India in the ancient days like paper today. It was used to write on them. So many ancient scriptures are written on palm leaves that are then put together in bundles. You can say like a book in a way. But the palm leaves that we speak about are a specific set of writing. They are predictions for individual people's lives, and they're describing the life story of these people together with recommendations on how to live a better life, basically. And these predictions were written by a group of sages called the rishis, according to the legend, many thousands of years ago in India. These rishis had many paranormal powers. Sometimes they're also called the Mahasiddhas. Maha means great, Siddha means paranormal power. So they were the yogis with great paranormal powers. And they could also perceive time from a different perspective. So they could perceive the past, present, and future simultaneously. You can say they could look into the future, but basically they perceived all of time simultaneously. And out of their great compassion, they wrote down the lives of a few million individual people onto these palm leaves. So these palm leaves contain a life story, but also, for example, the name of the person, the names of the parents, the date of birth, and other very clear information to identify this is the leaf of this person. These predictions are stored in the palm leaf libraries in India, which are kind of like temple libraries that you can go to visit and to find your own palm leaf, which has your future life story written on them, together with recommendations, with guidance from these rishis, how to live the most fulfilling version of your life. And we at MyPalmLeaf, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to do this work, we are like a bridge between these palm leaf libraries and the people searching for their palm leaf. So we help people to find their palm leaf without going to India and to have the reading and the entire process online in a Zoom call like this.
Do you have a sample of the palm leaves that we can see?
Yes, one moment. Now, I'm not sure if it's visible with the filter that we have here, but this is a bundle of palm leaves. This is not ancient. This is only 2 or 3 years old. It was given to me as a gift from the Palm Leaf Library to show people how the palm leaves look like. So within these 2 wooden plates, there are these many individual palm leaves, which are dried palm leaves that has writing on them. Now, these are not the most beautiful palm leaves, but it's a good example. These were like training leaves for basically someone who's training how to read the palm leaves and also how to write them. Because whenever the old leaves are decaying, they were manually copied by hand. That's also why no one really knows how old exactly are the leaves, because they're manually copied when the old ones are decaying. But I know someone who's also working with the palm leaves. He made some tests. He was given his palm leaf. Usually, according to the tradition, you're not given your palm leaf. They stay in the library. But in his leaf, it was said that they should give it to him. And then he took it to get it tested. And the test said that, yes, this leaf is, I don't remember, I think like 250 or 300 years old was the specific leaf.
So you referred to these palm leaf libraries. I understand you work with one specific library. And I also understand that there are several, maybe many libraries. Are they all working together? Do they all contain copies of the same bundles of leaves, copied in multiple times in different places, or are they all individual entities?
Both. Like many things in India, it's a chaos, but somehow it's working. So there are many places where the palm leaves are stored. Let's call them the libraries, which are also interconnected. They work together. But there's not like an official system. It's all individual relationships, kind of, you can say. And then there are palm leaf readers. And we work with one group of palm leaf readers, which is connected to a few different libraries, a few different sources. And how it works is that when someone books a reading with us, we get a thumbprint from that person because the palm leaves are organized based on the thumbprint patterns. Then we send the thumbprint to the readers we work with, who go to the different libraries, or we send it to the different libraries to check if there are bundles available which fit to that thumbprint pattern. If the bundles are not available, then they also check in different libraries, and also libraries kind of communicate with each other. So there's this whole complex system how the palm leaves are organized, stored, and also found, which, as I said, is not like an organized official system. It's more like to us, it might look like a chaos, but it works. There's like a divine intelligence which organizes all of the palm leaves and how they are stored and found as well.
It sounds very entertaining. You mentioned a moment ago, or a little while ago, the palm leaves as a form of yogic practice, or working with the palm leaves as a form of yogic practice. I'm curious if you could expand on this a little bit.
Yes, so the purpose of the palm leaf readings, paradoxically, is not that the predictions from the leaf all will become true. Most of them will become true, but not all of them. The palm leaves are not, it's not written in stone. What's written in the palm leaf is the most likely outcome, the most likely timeline based on our karma and our energy on the day of the reading. But we can also change our karma for the better. Especially through the remedies, the recommendations that are given in the palm leaf reading. We can change our karma, which can lead to different, mostly better outcomes of our life experience. This is one aspect. The other aspect is that a palm leaf reading is not just a reading to receive information, but it's a deep spiritual process that connects us with this dimension of the rishis, these timeless masters who wrote the palm leaves. And on the surface, there's this reading happening. We give this information, there's a Zoom call and so forth. But on the very subtle dimension, we are developing a more conscious connection with this dimension of the rishis. There's a lot of blessing and support coming into our life from these timeless masters who are always there to support humanity. And the more we open towards them, the more they can support us, they can guide us as well. So working with the palm leaves is a way to open more to this dimension of these timeless masters and allow their blessing and support to flow into our life.
Beautiful. Actually, I remember having my reading and coming with a certain degree of healthy skepticism. And one of the things that stood out to me was after the reading, like a subtle but very consistent feeling of kind of happiness and openness that wasn't there prior to the reading. I was having a pretty difficult moment in life at that particular point. Yeah. And one of the things after was like for several days, this subtle feeling of kind of happiness and openness, and moments I remember even near the place you're now living, walking down the hill, and just noticing for a moment that happiness, and then a sense of insight about something that was mentioned in my reading. And so
Yes.
the palm leaves contain remedies and pujas. You want to expand a little bit on how this works, how this is practiced, how these are
Sure.
even decided of which pujas and remedies to be given?
So for someone who doesn't know, a puja is a ceremony, like a spiritual practice that invokes a certain energy. And the remedies in general, they are the recommendations that are given in the palm leaves, how to transform karma. These recommendations can have many different forms. For example, they can come in the form of pujas, like different spiritual practices that we can perform to invite different energies into our life. But sometimes they also come in the form of practical steps. For example, you should feed 5 cows on a Thursday, or you should feed some fishes, or you should give like clothes to hungry children, or food to hungry children, things like this. And while these actions can look similar for one person, like for the other person, the effect is very individual. In the same way, like when the entire palm leaf reading is a way to connect with this dimension of the rishis. Also the remedies. For example, when we do these pujas, we provide a certain energy through these practices. And then this energy, in combination with the blessing and support of the rishis, these timeless masters, can work on our karmic field and lead to very subtle changes in our karmic field that can lead to very major changes in our mind, emotions, and through that also in our life experience. So that all of a sudden we attract different circumstances based on these very subtle energetic karmic changes that are happening on in our energy field, you can say. And I also must say, while I'm nearly every day, I'm sitting in readings, I'm helping people to find their palm leaf, I'm applying these remedies. I dedicate a lot of time to understand and experience these practices. But at the same time, I'm still only scratching the surface of understanding. So I still consider myself doing the very first step into this whole world of working with these timeless masters, but I can definitely feel in my own life and see in other people's lives the very tangible, powerful, positive effects that are coming from applying these remedies.